Welcome to Talent Tip Tuesday. My name is Andrea Ross and I'm the founder of The Career Establishment. We're a team building, leadership development, executive strengths coaching and e-learning business, and we predominantly focus on the recruitment sector. Now, we're based in Singapore and we service clients globally. So our Talent Tip Tuesday series is all about providing tips and advice to all the recruiters that are out there. Now, it's pretty tough times right now, and I want to help you to learn about new ways of breaking into new clients or writing new email headers, or how to approach your business development in a more natural way. A huge amount of topics that will be coming up over the next few weeks. So for 10 minutes or so, I will be sharing with you the tips on how to create compelling cold call subject headers. So this is going to be on email so that you can entice your client to actually open up your emails. So let's just get straight into it. Okay, so now the tips I'm about to share are more targeted at the clients that don't know you so well. You know, as I felt that clients you already know, you're probably calling them to talk through candidate profiles or spec CVs. So these tips are more for the cold call clients that don't know you yet. So the best email subject lines are they're creative, yeah, they're compelling, they're informative, without giving too much away. And a good subject line that piques interest is the difference between a prospect opening or ignoring an email. So it's really, really important that you spend a bit of time on the types of things that you're actually putting in those subject headers, and you know, changing it up from time to time, not using the same ones. So let's get into the first one. So let's just say you are representing a candidate, a finance director. A really great one, I've put Singapore in, but obviously depending on where you are in the world, it could be you know, Hong Kong or Japanese or whatever nationality the candidate you have. The reason I've put Singapore in is if you're a Singapore recruiter, or and you're aware of obviously the legislations that are going on in Singapore at the moment, it's all about hiring local talent. So obviously putting that they're Singaporean, it might be that they might get money off, as if that finance director was over 50. There are some relief to organisations in hiring people over 50 at the moment. So I might actually put Singaporean finance director brackets over 50 from major competitor. Yeah, especially if it was for a small medium enterprise that are probably a little bit more cost conscious. I probably wouldn't do that for a big major conglomerate, because that probably wouldn't be so much of a big deal for them. So depending on where you are, if you're from the UK, again, it might be worthwhile saying that I don't think actually saying that they're British. I don't think it really probably makes as much difference, but I think in places in Asia where there are a lot of restrictions at the moment, they're not able to get employment passes for foreigners, or there's certain restrictions on the salary levels, that's actually going to be quite a good subject line if you're calling in a competitor. The reason I've put major competitor is just because people are generally nosy. You know, if they're looking at, oh, okay, finance director from a major competitor. I mean, would it sort of pique the interest of HR? Probably not. I think if it says finance director, if I was sending a spec CV to another finance director or CFO, that would pique their interest, because they probably want to know who that person is. So they're more likely to want to open up that email. Another one might be that you're actually saying, you're highlighting where which organisation, IT project manager at requesting to talk to you. Now it might be at a major pharma client, IT project manager in fintech, or you're requesting to talk to you. I mean, I probably wouldn't put the exact organisation unless it was huge. I mean, if it was something like a Standard Chartered bank that got billions and billions of people there, it might be okay. But again, it's just, being quite specific. I really like the requesting to talk to you, because a lot of the time we do have candidates that when we meet them, they are really keen to talk about certain organisations with you. It might be, look, I'm really keen to break into this type of organisation. So in a way, we're not stretching the truth too much when we're saying requesting to talk to you. So that really kind of gets a client intrigued with who that person might be. So that's always a good one. Virtual coffee chat request. Now, we're obviously, times are changing. People are, our clients are meeting candidates virtually. They're not always doing it over coffee. And, by saying that it's actually a request, again, it's a request from the candidate, or it could be a request for you. Again, it just, I mean, for some clients that are perhaps introverts and really don't like meeting people, or just don't like people in general, that probably won't, that would probably either worry them and get really anxious and open up just to find out what it is, or you might have someone that's a little bit more extrovert, loves people, and would absolutely welcome an opportunity to have a chat. So that one's also, you know, quite topical and relevant for these times. Another one is mutual connections. So it might be, you know, Joe Tan recommended I get in touch with you. That's always a really good one, because, you know, you may well be doing work for an organization that knows, that used to work with the person you're trying to get in touch with at this new client. So that's why it's so important. Recruitment is a numbers game. You're calling as many people as you can. You're building up information. You're building your map. And so by being able to name drop there, it's quite targeted. Do not use a subject line with that if that isn't true. No, if it is just a name you picked out from anywhere, you're going to look pretty stupid, and it will really ruin your credibility. So just make sure that you have actually been recommended by that person. You can also expand on that by saying, you know, Joe Tan from Standard Chartered Bank recommended I get in touch with you. Again, that's quite targeted. Or Joe Tan from FinTech industry recommended I get in touch with you. But obviously, if we're given a name, then we're already being quite specific, aren't we? So we don't need to necessarily say FinTech. We would say the actual organisation. So again, it just gives a little bit more information, and they're going to be more likely to want to have a look at it. Another one is we have something in common. It might be, you know, we have attended the same webinar on wellbeing with whoever that might be, so, or we have mutual connection, or we have the same university in common. You know, have a look through their background, and you know, it might be, you know, people that are connected the same, might be on the same groups, might be the same part of the world, could be you've worked in the same organizations as them before, you know. So that one's quite a nice one if there are some commonalities there. This one I kind of like. I think it's a little bit different. It's a little bit personal. I really like the personal touch. As a recruiter, I would do the formal ones, but I also liked doing some different ones, some wild card ones that would just see what the reaction was. So hoping you can help. Sometimes we are, especially in down periods like this, where it's a tough market, we're representing candidates that we're either doing it on a lower rate, or we're hoping to gather some information so that we can help someone that's perhaps been made redundant, and so we might be sort of gathering information. So actually being able to reach out and say hoping you can help is, you know, it's actually a really nice, it's quite personal, it's just a little bit different than the ones above. Yeah, this is I think I got this one off the internet actually. I don't think this is one that I've necessarily used, but I thought it was quite interesting. So, hi Susan, is there a good time that we can talk? Or hi Susan, I've got someone that's approached me to talk to you. Are you free? You know, you could put anything on there. Hi Susan, have you thought about your recruitment plans for next year? Hi Susan, are you struggling to find the right talent right now? Yeah, so you could kind of use it for different things. It's kind of playful. That's what I quite liked about it. But again, if you're not a playful person, don't put it, because it's not going to suit your personality when you actually put the call in or you meet them face to face. It won't work. For someone like myself that leads with quite a lot of humour, I can get away with it. But just again, be true to yourself if it's kind of within your style or not. Next one is I thought about what you said. I really like this one. This is only if you've noticed that the person that you're trying to break into has, maybe they've written an article, maybe they've done a webinar, maybe they've just done a quote or a video about something that means something to you. And I think that's a really nice one. I thought about what you said, and then that kind of gets them thinking, oh, and you could do ... And then it may not be that you're trying to pitch a candidate in on these subject headers. It might be just trying to get a meeting. But when you're getting into the main body, it then can say, I was very interested in you're a guest on a podcast, or I read the article that I read an article, the article that you were mentioned on LinkedIn, and it provoked this in me, or it inspired me to do XYZ. You know, and be truthful about it. Don't be cheesy. If it really didn't mean anything, don't put subject lines like this, because it's not right. It's not very authentic. But I really like this one. I think this is quite special, and I think if you're in this kind of market, is when you're spending a lot of time reading a lot more content, listening to a little bit more content, being able to add that little extra to your clients when it comes to conversations. It doesn't always have to be about recruitment. It's about just broadening your mind on a number of topics that you then can add more conversations and more inspiring dialogue with your client. So I really like that one. So we're kind of going back to more the formal ones now. So this is a data analyst interviewing with your competitor. Now, obviously, if you're working in an area that's really hot at the moment, like a data analyst, I mean, if it was kind of a finance analyst, is that really in demand at the moment? Probably not. I mean, it's not overly in demand, but I think kind of the data analyst, data science analyst, all these kind of ones, they're really in demand. And so by putting the actual title and the job type in there, that kind of again provokes a bit of reaction. And also the interviewing with your competitor, that just kind of, I mean, some recruiters will go, oh no, it's too aggressive. I probably is actually, but I really like it, and I found it always generally would result in a reply. So sometimes you have to push the boundaries a little bit, but obviously only if they are interviewing with your competitor. Doesn't mean it's a competitor through you, right? It's just a fact. Data analyst interviewing with, and you can actually name the company, but again, you've got to be a little bit careful on that. I wouldn't, if it's through me, I'd be a little bit careful. I'm putting it up there because I'm throwing it out there as ideas, but again, you need to probably be quite careful with that, because it could be a bit confidential, unless the candidate was quite happy. Maybe they were available immediately and it isn't too bad to kind of mention. Another subject line is, I found you through LinkedIn. And this is the one that's a little bit more manipulative, I would say, because that client could either read that as thinking, oh, it's a recruiter, are they interested in me for a new role, or are they talking to me about helping me find some good talent? Who knows, right? But whichever way it is, they're probably going to look at the email. Last one is looking for advice from the expert. This one's nice. I like this one. If you've got someone that you're reaching out to that you know is an absolute guru in a certain area, and you've got a candidate you want to represent, or maybe it's a roundtable event that you're looking to organise, and you're looking for some advice, I would absolutely put that on there. I love this one, actually. This is actually probably one of my favourite ones. Just because I think a lot of the recruitment firms are doing roundtables, they're doing virtual ones. There's a number of services or offerings other than just pure recruitment. And I think this is really nice. I think that really does kind of get people to sort of open up the email. Is that all of them? Yeah, that's, oh my gosh, that came around quick, didn't it? That must be 10 minutes. So that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed it. Please email me your next topic so that you can get to listen to things that really mean something to you as well, that you're struggling on right now. So inquiries at thecareerestablishment.com. We'll be looking at that regularly. We'll be pumping that into those topics and providing some tips and techniques over the next few weeks. Please follow us on Instagram, because we are going to be doing some cool things on there. There's also going to be Andrea Picks every week, which I think it's every Friday, something like that, where I'll be commenting on either books or podcasts or articles that have inspired me and that will help you within recruitment or any field, actually. But it's just to open your mind so that you can really bring different conversations, different dialogues to your clients and the people that you serve, so that we can obviously serve better. So have a great day. Good luck out there. And thanks for listening. Over and out.